And welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Hope everybody's having a phenomenal Friday night after Giants baseball. We get it going. We live stream Nationals, all Nationals. 14-4. Oh, ugly. 22 hits. We were just saying the other night, Giants have yet to get blown out. Spoke too fast because they got blown out tonight. And of course, we'll do a little recap on the NFL draft. Hope everybody's having a great Friday night. The final 14-4 Nationals knock off the Giants. Welcome to the Krueg Show postgame edition. And anything you want to talk about, just line up in the chat and we'll get right to it. So we welcome in Ryan Smith. We welcome in Dan Coach Emilio. Fellas, we'll get to the Niners in the draft in a bit, but let's start with the Giants. 14-4. Alex Wood started this game for the Giants. He went 5. He gave up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, struck out 3, 86 pitches for Wood. Marte came on. He got roughed up a little bit in the third of the inning. It was really Kervin Castro that gave up a lot of runs late. And Tyler Beatty, 4 hits and an inning and a third. And the Giants wound up losing to the Nationals by a 14-4 score. I guess if there was a positive. I don't know what you guys would list as the positive of the night. For me, it was Joey Bart. Just the fact that Joey Bart, got the offense going, 3 more hits, hit the ball hard, hit the ball out of the ballpark. What'd you guys think? I thought overall Joey Bart, was the positive. I mean, they need his bat. They don't have another catcher that they can lean on. They need Joey Bart to get the bat going and not, sink below the Mendoza line. And, even with his 3 for 4 night, he's hitting 214. So if there was a positive on this orange Friday night at the Yard for Giants Nationals, it was Joey Bart. For the negative, the Giants got blown out for the first time all year. What'd you guys think? Ryan, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I think you got to start with Bart. I mean, it's just nice to have a catcher hitting over 200 now. I'd say it's Bart, and then it's just Wilmer Flores keeps rolling, man. I mean, it's good to – I think Dan kind of corrected me after the last game. I was a little worried that maybe he pulled his groin or something on that last play, but I think you're right. I think he might have just got cup checked. So, yeah, I mean, he looked great. That's good to see. Yeah, this is when you forget. It's one you're lucky that it was on Apple TV. And I have to say, I do like these City Connect jerseys, but on a night like tonight, it looked kind of gross. So with that, Dan.
Yeah, just an ugly night. And the good thing about it is you come back in 14 more hours and play another one.
Exactly. What's the good news about tonight? They play again tomorrow.
Yeah. It happens, and it's going to happen again over 162. It'll probably happen a couple more times at least. You just kind of have to look, like you said, for the positives. Bart, Flores, Slater got a couple of hits, just chalk it up. And it wasn't Wood's night, and the Nationals bats woke up, and the Giants pitching was just not there tonight. It wasn't just Wood. It was pretty much the entire bullpen got kind of blown up. So,
huge night for Victor Robles. I mean, for Nats. I mean, look at the bottom of that Nats lineup. I mean, Escobar, Robles, Thomas. I mean, these guys all had big nights. 4 hits from Maikel Franco, 4 hits for Josh Bell, who I would love to see in a Giants uniform later on this summer. Nelly Cruz is not hitting. He went 0 for 5. He's hitting 150. But Soto, Hernandez, Bell, Franco, Thomas, Robles, Escobar. I mean, they were running to the bat rack,
Yeah, everything was going their way, even laying a bunt down with a 6-run lead in the 7th.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? Everybody's all crushing the Giants for the unwritten rules. Robles laid down a bunt late in the game, up big. Should the Giants throw at Robles tomorrow? Was that an insult to all that is Giants baseball that Robles ran? Wouldn't it be great if the Giants started getting bent after they've been doing that to other teams? They started getting bothered by that.
I'd
But
almost
yeah,
kind of like it. Like it's like all of a sudden we become like the villains of the league. It'd be kind of funny.
let me just say this: the most offensive thing of the night wasn't getting beat by the Nationals, the last place team, by 10 runs. The embarrassment of the night was, without a doubt, the wave. The wave was
Man.
prominent tonight. Prominent. I saw the wave in the outfield, and it wasn't like a couple people. Everybody was into it. And what does that tell you? That tells you that there's not enough action on the field. When you see beach balls in the wave, it tells you there's not enough action on the field, and that the fans have to create it on their own. To me, that when the crowd starts doing the wave, oh my goodness, that's when it's maybe time to pack it in.
Yeah, it's just a tough night what they're going through with the injuries, and then top it off with COVID, and it looked like a spring training team out there tonight, just lining guys up that how do you say it? Krueger, how do you pronounce his name?
Krueger.
Krueger playing left field. I mean, hey, good for him. But
his family there. I mean,
yeah, good for him.
Wife,
and
his wife, his sister, his parents, his 2-year-old son Carter. They flew in from Austin to see his major league debut. The guy, let's give him credit here. He's a 32-year-old player making his major league debut after 1,131 games in the minor leagues.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
I mean, hopefully he can, he's obviously not up for too long when the regulars come back, but hopefully he can get a big league knock and have a record.
It's funny. Gary and I used to talk about this. I forget who exactly we were talking about. Some guy who had been in the minors for years and years.
Elliot Ramos?
No. It was somebody who was like a career minor leaguer. And Gary's like, you ought to just quit and retire and give it up and, go get a real job kind of a thing. And we used to give him grief about it. Oh, come on. Would you tell your kid to quit his dream? I mean, this is the guy's dream. And, I forget who it was. It was one of these guys that had spent like his whole career in the minor leagues. What do you think, guys? If you had a kid, if your son was Jason Krueger, and he spent over 1,100 games in the minor leagues, stick it out, stay with it, or get out of there, quit, go get a real job? I mean, Danny, you're a financial advisor at this point. I mean, you're
expert.
You're an expert in this field. If Krueger was your kid, and not to get personal with Krueger, God bless him. I mean, we're not trying to be in any way, nasty in any way to Krueger. I'm just using as an example because he spent a long time in the minors. But, Gary used to say, go, move on, go get a real job kind of a thing.
Gary.
We used to just push back on that just to be like, go team, and let him be the bad guy. But what do you think? How long is too long to be hanging out in the minor leagues waiting for your dream? What would you advise?
I'd say never give up on your dream. Look, he's 32. He's doing what he loves to do. And minor league baseball is tough because you don't have the same travels that the big league clubs do, and all the amenities that those guys get, and they're living off of, minimum salaries. But as long as you can play, heck, man, I would have played for free. It felt like when I was a kid and wanting to play ball, major leagues, played all the way through and into high school. I was like, man, if I didn't have obviously the makeup to make it to the next level, but if I could, it was a fun game, just being able to play. So he's got plenty of time to work. I mean, he's probably getting by, with the salary he's making in AAA. If your dream is to play in the majors, don't give up until you're totally done.
I hear you.
That's
I hear you. What
that's
about
me.
you, Ryan? How do you weigh in on that? I mean, if you're still a young man who potentially could be in the minor leagues, how many years would you give the minors before you said, you know what? I want to do it. I love it. It's my dream, but you know what? It ain't happening, and I'm moving on. Because I mean, and unlike other sports, like in the NBA, you could go play in Turkey, you could go play in a different country, Spain, Argentina. There's all kinds of places to play. In the NFL, go play in the CFL, go play semi-pro. In baseball, it's like you're in the minors, and you know,
Or it's like eastbound and down, and you're down in Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the independent leagues, there's the professional leagues of Mexico, the Mexican leagues. I believe Pablo Sandoval right now is playing in the Mexican league. So,
Darren Ruff was signed by the Giants from Korea.
Yeah,
and Korea helped him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my whole thing is you're so far down this road. You're 32 years old or 33 years old. Just stay with it. Just stay with it, right?
You're fully committed. You're committed. You're like, if this doesn't work out, like I'm probably not, I'm not going into some big business probably after this. I'm probably going to become a coach or something.
How about another guy that great story, 2014, Travis Ishikawa hits the Giants win the pennant home run. And when he was after the game, they were talking on Fox about how he was ready to quit the game, and he was crying and telling a good buddy of his he wanted to quit, and they told him hang in there, and he just thought he'd never get his shot, and look what happens. Now the guy's Giants lore forever.
It's true. It's a great point. And you know what? I got a great story from that night because I was there, and I was in that post-game locker room celebration getting doused with beer and everything else. And I was doing the morning show the next morning on the Leader, and I was asking the PR guy, I'm like, hey, I want to get Ishikawa. And he's like laughing. Of course you want to get Ishikawa. He just hit the game-winning home run to send the team, to the World Series. He's like, I don't know if I can set it up for you, but he's here if you want to hang out. And so I'm like, all right, I'll hang out. And so, the post-game celebration, it's full on, champagne everywhere, people going crazy, friends and family, and the celebration's going on. And it's an hour after the game. Now it's 2 hours after the game. I mean, they're still, hooping and hollering and dumping all kinds of alcohol on each other. And you got people celebrating. And so he's got the throng of media people around him. And he's talking, telling everybody, and it was a slider. And then he started me off here. And then I got that and I drove it. And then there's another round of media people and another round. I need to do an interview, but I've basically got to wait. I've got to do a one-on-one interview, right? I can't do an interview for radio where there's like 19 people like asking questions. This is a one-on-one. So now I'm not even trying to get into the gangbang. Yes. Post locker, that's what they call it. The media gangbang. But I wasn't trying to get in there because I didn't want to. I couldn't share my Travis. I needed Travis solo. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. Seriously, it's 3 hours after the game. Finally, every single person that ever wanted to ask this guy a question has interviewed him. I mean, the Disney channels interviewed him. Everybody's interviewed him. And he's standing there at his locker, and I walk up to him, and I'm like, Travis, congrats, man. Larry Krueger, I'd love to do an interview with you for the show tomorrow. Man, I know you probably don't want to do it because you've probably told this story 19,000 times already. And before I could even get to the but, he's like, no problem, man. No problem. Let's do it. He was just such a nice guy. And we sat there and sure enough, as I started interviewing, a couple people come along, and I told them, I said, I've been waiting for a long time because I can't really have other people in the interview because it's a radio show. I can't really have some random person from the Chronicle jumping in or something. And he's like, no problem. So now we're doing the interview, and people are starting to come up because they're seeing that he's still talking. But this is hours after the game.
Wow.
And Travis Ishikawa, as cool guy as he was, knew what I was up against. And when the people came up and They some of them started asking questions. He would just put his hand up, like, "Hey, man, no," like intercepting their questions. And then they finally went away, and I got this one-on-one. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible to sit there, and the guy hit just a bolt of lightning. It went into the arcade. I forget who it was off of, but it was a Cardinal pitcher who just served it up. And great call by the Kahuna. John Miller had a phenomenal call on that one, and just a special moment, man. Just a very, very special moment in Giant history. So Danny brings that up, and it's a great point. It's like that kid, if he had quit, would not have that moment. He is forever etched in Giants lore, and he really never established himself in the big leagues as I don't think he ever made any real money. I don't think he ever got to a real contractual situation. But guess what? He started in the outfield, in left field in the World Series, and he hit one of the biggest home runs in Giants history. Nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from him for the rest of his life. To me, that's the argument to keep playing.
It's one of my favorite moments, that home run in history of being a Giants fan of 50 plus years, because just the moment, I mean, and the crowd and being in San Francisco to have it happen. It's just, and a lot of people don't like Joe Buck. I think he did a fantastic call on it. A lot of people online, Giant fans don't like Buck, and here he was announcing.
Well, I mean, come on, don't force feed us somebody who we all know is rooting for the opposition in the NLCS. Don't force us to have Harry Carey announcing Giants against Cubs for the right to go to the World Series. Don't force us to have Vin Scully for Giants Dodgers in a big game. I mean, come on. It's supposed to be an impartial guy.
Feel free to give us John Miller, though.
Yeah, but I mean, Joe Buck is so associated with the Cardinals. That's why people push back on that.
Yeah.
I mean, and same reason with McCarver. McCarver was very associated with the Cardinals. So it's like, to me, I don't have a problem with, Joe Buck he was rooting for the Cardinals. I mean, let's just and as a Giants fan, it's hard to get.
But he did make a good call on that, though, and I mean, he sounded.
It wasn't a homer call.
Yeah.
No. If you listen to it, it's a pretty good call. He really got into it.
Chris Young says off of Michael Walker. It was off Michael Walker.
Yep. Hey, what about getting on to announcers? Guess who's doing Fox's? Who's the main announcer now for took Joe Buck's place? That'll be doing the World Series and National League Championship Series.
Don't tell me A-Rod.
No, the main announcer, the play-by-play.
I don't know.
It's Joe Davis, the LA Dodgers, got the job. So if the Giants play the Dodgers in the playoffs
Joe Davis is smug. He's smug. Come on, Joe Davis is smug.
Is there an alternate broadcast?
That's no.
Yeah.
You're not going to have to do the alternate Krueg cast. Just have it synced up and.
Yeah. Hey, there was a question on the chat. Someone was saying something about why we have Cruzan and not Ramos.
We can go down that road and go into that again. Ramos deserves to be up, and he deserves a full shot, I think. Well, they don't have an everyday outfielder.
Here's why he's not up, I believe, is because this is a temporary until Yaz comes off the injured list or the COVID list, and Wade will be coming back soon. And Peterson, they don't know, is day to day.
They said today Peterson has a grade 1 adductor strain. He's not going on the injured list today,
right?
But it doesn't mean he's not going on the injured list. He may go on the injured list in a day or two. They're going to see if things improve. Farhan said it was relatively good news, but he may need to go on the injured list. And as far as the other guys, Duggar tested positive for COVID. He's already on the 60-day. The Giants optioned Jacob Junis to AAA. He's going to make a start there, stay stretched out. Alex Cobb, they say, is doing well. Good possibility he goes Sunday. against the Nationals. Who a Belt is on the COVID list. Dominic Leone, COVID list. Junis, as I said, been optioned. Cruzan was recalled. Mauricio Lovera was recalled. Kai Tom has been called up, and Darian Nunez, who was just added this week, has been released. So Brandon Belt on the COVID list. Lamont Wade, by the way, launched a 422-foot home run in the minor leagues. They're saying he's getting closer. So, they need Lamont Wade, man. They really could use Lamont Wade.
In honor of
he would help.
In honor of the captain, I'm shouting out to the captain for being on with COVID.
The Belt man.
Wish him back soon. But Ramos is not up. The reason he's not up is because they don't want to waste one of those 5 call-ups probably right now. And they'll bring him up, I believe, if Peterson maybe goes on the IL or something else happens where it's going to be a longer stretch. I think you'll see Ramos up for not just a short stint.
We got a bunch of people weighing in here. Aaron Leon, pump the brakes, people. It's a long season. I don't think anybody's losing their mind over this, but
I'm not gonna lie. If we lose, I don't want to be this guy, but if we lose tomorrow with Webb on the mound versus the Nats again, and don't have much offensive output, I'm not gonna click panic button, but I'm gonna start to feel a little weird about the direction it's starting to go.
It's early. It's early.
And
Raphael says Ruff is getting exposed. Not supposed to be an everyday player. Ruff is off to a cold start, Danny. What's the deal? You got a theory?
Yeah, just what Raphael said. He's not supposed to be a everyday player facing righties constantly. He's a platoon guy, and when he gets hot, he starts hitting well off left-handers. Then he can carry that on and continue to hit right-handers. But he's facing nothing but righties right now, and he's and that's not his strength. So he was brought onto the team to be against the lefties. So I think once you start seeing these guys come up, Wade, Yaz, Peterson, all the guys playing at full go, you'll see Ruff on the bench, and he'll pinch hit late in the game when it's a spot, especially against the left-hander, or he'll get his spot starts against the lefties, or be the DH. But he's playing every day, and that's not his strength.
Daniel Kim says no leaf blower tonight. No, neighbors sleeping.
Are you guys peeping the chat right now? There's some serious Elliot Ramos slander out of nowhere.
Well, let's get to it. Let me throw this one out, though. Randy Cell 415 says the Wave, Apple TV, City Connect jerseys equals a 14-4 loss. Hey, what's up with the Apple TV? I haven't watched tonight's game on the computer. Kind of a bummer. I don't mind it. It's not like oh my God, what it's not like I can't hook up the Apple TV Plus or whatever. But man, these force you into a streaming deal. It's a rough deal. It's a rough deal. But
it's like it.
Hey, go get
nothing against the announcers, because Hunter Pence was one of the announcers. But we're spoiled because we have top tier announcing crews, and then all of a sudden we get the YouTube crew or the Apple Plus crew, and it's like, great, it was the highlight of the night. They brought them all garlic fries. I mean, it was like
we're all experimenting with the broadcast and stuff.
Yeah,
it was a rough listen tonight.
Yeah, with Ryan kind of getting on Kirkland the other day, Costco. Let's give Costco a plug. Go get yourself a Roku TV down at Costco, and you could stream. That's what I've got. I just put Apple right on there, and I get on the big 65-inch big screen.
It's almost like one day we're going to be advanced enough to have some box with Apple TV and all the channels we need. We'll call it a TV box or something.
People are going now. So let's get into some of this Ramos stuff. Raphael says, honestly, Ramos isn't some phenom. I kind of would push back on that. He was a first-round draft choice. Guy's got crazy bat speed. He's not 20. He's not some 19-year-old prodigy. He's not the best prospect in the game. But I would not at this point, based on what I've seen, be saying, "Oh yeah, Ramos is a nothing." What? Well, I don't know what you're watching, but to me, he looks like he's got plenty of bat speed and lots of potential. I mean, is he there yet? Oh no, but I wouldn't go criticizing Elliot Ramos.
Ramos is not a major league hitter. Come on now.
Who said that? Where does that?
Different guy.
Carl Darrell. Ramos is not a major league hitter. Well, I mean, he hasn't had an opportunity to prove he's anything. I mean, before we start proclaiming people aren't major league hitters, let's see him fail. Okay. The guy came up, he played one game, he hit 2 balls over 110 miles an hour. All right. So I don't know where all this cocky and confidence is, and he's not a major league hitter. If we're going to go on knee-jerk reactions based on small sample size, the small sample size says he is a major league hitter. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean, I didn't see anything from him that said, "Oh my goodness, minor leaguer." And I've seen so many guys coming at J.R. Phillips and all kinds of guys, Rich Murray, and guys that didn't have a prayer in the big leagues. No, I remember people just running out of sprinting over to call those guys minor leaguers. And here you got a guy who's got legitimate bat speed, legitimate power, legitimate speed, an incredible arm. And he's not old. What is he, 24? It's not like he's 28.
22.
He's 22. He's a 22-year-old former first-round draft choice who just hit 2 balls over 110 miles an hour and has been sent to the minor leagues. And people are proclaiming that he's not a phenom and he's not a big leaguer. And what? I mean, I've had people say to me, "Krug, you're too negative." I think that's way too negative. Maybe I'm pie in the sky hopeful.
No.
You gotta show me what you got. And to me, based on the small sample size, he's got it.
Yeah, like I kind of agree. I think that Raphael kind of walked it back. Like he's like, don't expect him to be an all-star. Like I'm not expecting him to be an all-star.
Well, now we're moving the goalposts.
Yeah, I'm like
he's not major league, and now don't expect him to be an all-star. Well,
yeah,
what is it?
You could use someone hitting 280 with 15 home runs. Like seriously,
Randy 415, go to bed, Raphael. Seriously, come on. And now Raphael's doing the Deion Sanders. Not saying he's a nothing. All right, Raphael, we hear you. You're saying pump the brakes.
Yeah, we got to see what he can do, but he hasn't been given a shot.
Now we need to back off Raphael.
Raphael's got to come back though, like Skip Bayless style. Like every time Ramos has a bad game, just like come in, just talking so much ass.
Just don't expect him to be an all-star. Pretty soon, Raphael. 45 minutes from now, Raphael will be like, "Hey, look, he's not going to be a first ballot guy. He's he's going to go to the Hall, but he's not going to be a first ballot.
He'll probably go to the Hall, but Mad Dog will argue against it.
Yeah, he'll probably go to the Hall, but don't expect him on that first ballot. And he's anyway.
Well, yeah. What about tomorrow? I think we got Webb going tomorrow, right? Webb
going tomorrow. Raphael saying relax. That's all. If you ever want to just kind of have the upper hand in any debate, Danny, Ryan, let me just teach you a thing. Just wait till there's a bunch of comments and then drop a, "Hey guys, relax."
Oh yeah, no, Aaron Rodgers taught me that one.
Relax. You want to be the guy at the cocktail party that just comes into a debate and just goes, "Hey guys, relax," and then walk away. People always love that guy.
Games like tonight, for me as a fan, I don't know how it is for the guys on the team and the coaches, but when you lose and you just get blown out, it's just kind of like I'd rather lose this way than lose a ninth inning comeback walk off by the other team. Somebody, you're up and the guy blows a save and someone hits a 2-run, 3-run homer and you just blew it. I'd be like, and then you can't forget about it. Tonight it's like around the 5th, 6th inning when it was 9-3 is like, when they had their chance and got the first 2 guys on in the 6th and then they didn't even score. Looked like the crowd was really into it. They were going crazy. They were down 9-3. Flores led off with a hit and then Crawford got a hit or something I think that's what it was. and then they didn't score. I was like, yeah, it's over. I started
Hey, Danny.
looking at them. Yeah, relax. Yeah, relax.
Just
I
relax.
started.
Maybe we're all too stressed.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just lean back.
I started studying more for to talk about the draft, so we could talk about the three.
We're
picks
getting
the
to
Niners
that,
got.
Danny. Don't think we're not. We're getting to that. We're going to midnight tonight. What time is it?
Yeah.
How much
We
time?
got 23 minutes.
Yeah, it's like all right, guys, we're only going to midnight. Smash cut to us like debating draft at 2 a.m.
Yeah, we're not going past midnight tonight. Now Raphael's really backpedaling. I think Matos is more of a prospect than Ramos. All right, Raphael. We're sorry, Raphael. We didn't mean to bag on you too much. Now we got him in full backpedal mode.
No, there's that, but I don't know about that Carl Darrell though. He just coming with the persistent debate.
Carl Darrell. What's Carl Darrell saying? Oh wait,
he said he hasn't hit for average in the minor leagues yet after 3 or 4 seasons.
Well, that's true.
That's
true. All I would say to that is,
oh no! I think I just inspired Raphael to come back. He said, "I'm a big boy. Bring it."
Now, Raphael says, "Relax, guys," and Randy says, "Relax" with an exclamation point.
No, Raphael's trying to debate again. He said, "He's a big boy." He said, "I'm a big boy. Bring it."
I'm a big boy. Bring it. All right.
I like it. it.
Hey, Raphael, relax.
Yeah, Jesus. Relax.
Hey, one other thing I wanted to get to tonight. The umpires made Harleen Garcia change his light brown glove for a black glove. Did you guys catch that tonight?
No.
Harleen Garcia's light brown glove was forced off of his hand for a black glove.
Just because it was too hard to see it?
I guess.
Huh.
I guess.
Didn't Timmy Ryan get in trouble for comments about that?
Yeah. We won't comment on that. The other big happening today in baseball, Major League Baseball has suspended Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
And he gets 324 games, 2 seasons without pay, effective immediately.
Yeah, that was an expensive thrill.
Take that, Deshaun Watson.
Wow. I mean, look at by the way,
64 million.
Look at the difference between the way the NFL has handled Deshaun Watson and the way MLB has handled Trevor Bauer. Deshaun Watson had 22 different women accuse him of things.
It was fairly similar.
He just signed a record contract.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer had one woman, basically say, this is what happened. And he in Major League Baseball paid a lot of attention. Just kind of makes you wonder the difference between baseball and football on that front. How come the powers that be in the NFL have not come down on Deshaun Watson despite seems like a mountain of issues and multiple people, as opposed to Trevor Bauer? One woman makes the claim, and he's now suspended for the next 2 years without pay. Dramatic difference in how they handled that situation.
Lair, also imagine like Paul Goldschmidt got caught gambling on a game when he was on the IL or in the minor leagues or something. How much do you think for a suspension? You think in a year?
If it's
I don't
gambling,
think they care as much about gambling. Like they do, but like I don't think it's
do.
But I don't think it's as much as the NFL. I think the NFL is a little bit more tied to it.
Well, what did the receiver get for the
whole year?
Yeah, you got a full
for
year.
Ridley for like being on the injured reserve and like parlaying random games.
I do understand people oftentimes make the comparison. Well, why is it that they make a huge deal about gambling and they don't make nearly as big a deal about domestic violence or something?
Yeah.
Well, because domestic violence is a terrible crime. I think they come down hard on the gambling because it's so central to the competition. Don't you think, Danny?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think that's the primary thing? I mean, if it wasn't a direct attack on the competition, which is at the very core of the business, I don't think they would push back as hard. But because it is, I think they're left with no choice to push back extremely hard because if you don't have integrity to the competition, there's no business. There's no game.
Yeah. I mean, it's look at Pete Rose. I mean, he was, basically banned from baseball. But it's changed so much though, because now DraftKings is all over the, sponsoring this or that, and every major sport is gambling's behind it, and it's promoted. So it's almost kind of a hypocritical thing of the leagues.
It's a total hypocritical stance. I mean, there's a kiosk to gamble at Nationals games.
Where was the NFL draft also? Like, it was square in the middle of Las Vegas.
It is interesting. There's I don't know if you guys have seen the Don Van Atta, the former investigative journalist who covered the Clinton White House, who now works for ESPN. He's got a show on ESPN, and the ESPN show that he hosts is called The Backstory. Have you guys seen it?
No, I haven't.
The Backstory, Danny?
A little bit like a Bob Lee thing,
and what's that?
Is it a little bit like a Bob Lee like investigative thing?
Yeah, and basically, Don Van Atta's premise for the whole show is like, hey, if you find out this incredible story in sports, you can almost guarantee that the backstory is better than the story itself. And they have one on Manti Te'o and the catfishing girlfriend thing, and then there's the one on the official and Serena Williams and how she just lost her mind at that official and going back and forth, the line judge. And then the other one is Joe Jackson, and Pete Rose and gambling in baseball. And it's really summed up well. The one on baseball is so good. I would recommend it to anybody. It's an hour long, I believe, and you'll never regret watching this thing. And it basically just goes back to the origins of gambling in baseball and how baseball was totally okay with gambling until they weren't. And then now you were persona non grata, a la Pete Rose, and baseball had one stance towards gambling until they started making money on it. And now they've got, this, now they're getting part of the action. And it's like, isn't it interesting that guys were kept out when gambling was like, just a terrible taboo. But now that we're more of a gambling culture, now it's okay for MLB to take a profit and even have kiosks in stadiums. And it just kind of shows that gambling was one of the things that made baseball popular at its origins, 1870, 1900, in the early, 1910s, the 1920s, gambling on the sport. Yeah. Supposedly the White Sox 1919 gambling scandal was uncovered because they investigated the 1918 Chicago Cubs for doing exactly the same thing.
I bet.
For throwing the World Series. And that's what kind of led them down this road and made people start thinking about the Chi Sox and the money that they took. And anyway, it's just that, shoeless Joe Jackson was obviously a Hall of Fame player. He's not in the Hall. Pete Rose was obviously the hit king. He's not in the Hall. And now you can walk into Nationals Park and put a 3-team parlay down on a baseball game. So it is an interesting conversation as it's evolved through the years.
I think that issue, and getting real quick back to Bauer and Watson, I think the difference might be is that Watson has had a pretty good reputation prior to that. Seems like a pretty good guy, and Bauer's just, let's face it, he's just a jerk. He's not a likable guy, and then what he was accused of, basically he admitted to. I mean, just like beating the crap out of this woman because she said, and he says she wanted it,
right?
But my point to the whole thing is what kind of guy is this? That would even would do that to a woman? Just beat her and whatever. I mean, I know it's a consensual adult act, but come on, it's a little too far. And I think that's what baseball. So many people came down on Bauer because of what he admitted to. It's like, this guy's not got it all going upstairs.
Well, there's a lot of people on that team who are like, hey, we don't want that guy in our clubhouse anymore. I mean, I think that's a reality as well.
Also, there is the Watson. If there was a video of Watson's thing or if more details kind of came out, I think everyone kind of just knows, like, yeah, like I know about Deshaun Watson, like, the 20 some odd massage parlor women, but no one like know, you know what I mean? Like he hasn't like admitted to doing some like wild thing or something. And we just know they're settling out of court, which kind of helps. You know, it's like the Ray Rice thing versus hearing about it. It's just different.
By the way, I'm at a JV baseball game the other day. Kid on our team strikes out a kid on the other team and does the Trevor Bauer,
Oh, the knife. I mean,
the sword back in its sheath. Oh,
did you throw at him the next game?
and the rest of his teammates went crazy, like, woo, yeah, way to go. And the coach basically said, hey guys, tomorrow we're having a practice and everybody's going to run because of the histrionics that you guys showed. And that little maneuver, that little Trevor Bauer maneuver, and then how you reacted to it in the dugout. So good for the coach. Good for the coach. I don't mind a little celebration. I'm not the no fun police, but you don't have to rub other people's faces in it. One last Giant note: Jalen Davis claimed off waivers by the Red Sox. Is Jalen Davis going to carve out a major league career, or are you convinced that if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now? Does he go to Boston and he's the next hot item at Fenway Park, or is he going to be what he's been thus far, which is just a minor league player who's having a hard time kind of breaking through and really establishing himself in the bigs? What do you guys think?
Well, I think if he's got one shot at really becoming a big league home run hitter, he couldn't have gone to a better place with the Green Monster, because he does have a tendency to hit the ball high. Jalen Davis, when he hits his home runs, he hit a lot of home runs in the minor leagues, just a ton of power. But when he came up to the Giants, I think he got one home run maybe with the Giants in his time, but most of the time he was either striking out or hitting weak ground balls. So I would say it's a long shot for him to be successful, but if he does find success, it would be with Boston.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, it's almost funny thing is like if it was a reverse role and we were picking him up for the first time and it's like in Farhan we trust, it would be like, oh, I feel like I could see that guy maybe hitting like, 240 with 15 home runs for us next year or this year. And but yeah, I'm just really not sure. It's just
there's just too much swing and miss in his game.
Yeah.
You have to make more contact. He's a big, strong guy with a great looking swing, and at AAA, he gets locked in. He starts ripping the ball all over the place. The major leagues with the advance reports, it hasn't happened for him, and there's just a lot of swing and miss in this game. Randy 415 says the JV Broncos coach over at Northgate, they do things the right way. And then Romo 2001 comes back with, Larry, the coach needs to relax.
That's great. Great callback.
Hey, guys, relax. All right? Just relax. It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate, it's the final word, no matter what. All right, let's finish in the final 10 minutes talking about the draft. The draft is now 3 rounds deep. Tomorrow, rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. 49ers didn't have a first-round pick. They did have a second-round pick. They took Drake Jackson, a speed rusher from SC. He's a first-round talent for sure, but there's some character issues. He's a guy that he's played in a 4-3. He's played in a 3-4. He was 280 as a freshman. He had a big year. He dropped 20 pounds. He's played in different schemes, but Arden Key signed with Jacksonville. D Ford is done, and you never can have enough speed rushers. And this guy, I think, is a decent situational pass rusher. I like the speed and I like the first step. I'm a little concerned whether or not he's anything more than a situational pass rusher, because I don't think he's strong against the run. What do you guys think? Any thoughts on Drake Jackson? Danny, you said you spent some time studying these guys the last hour or so.
I like the fact that, like you said, his first step is really explosive, and with Kosaric coaching him up and with those vets that they have, he's going to be able to learn from, Bosa. He's going to be able to Abercom, all these guys that have been in the league. He's going to be the youngest guy, so he's going to come up and have want to learn. And I think he's really kind of what the 49ers tried to envision with D Ford in 2019. D Ford was, pretty much a spot guy that would come in when third down situations. And if you can get this guy with explosiveness and on one edge and Boza coming off the other, I think it's good. I think he's gonna, he's got good pedigree from SC's a great football institution with been known for some of the best defensive players in the league. So I think it's a good pick. I think there was others that they could have probably gotten had they tried to package and trade up. But the one thing with their 3 picks tonight, I would say this: I think they reached for
the running back.
The running back. I think
Ty Davis Price.
Ty Davis. I think he would have been available a little later. I love the 3rd pick, the receiver from SMU. That's what they need, is somebody with speed. The guy can burn it. He can get downfield. He runs well after the catch. I think with the receivers, and then Davis, the running back, he's kind of a bruiser. So I think what they're really trying to do is, and with the 3rd pick, I think they're trying to take away some of the things off Debo's plate to say, hey, we're not going to make you the wide back all the time anymore, where you're going to split your time at running back. I think that's what the plan is to get Debo to be more of a wide receiver and use him on jet sweeps a little more than putting him right straight in the backfield. I think that's where he's best utilized.
What do you think, Ryan? You like Drake Jackson? What do you think of that pick?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I want to kind of jab Shanahan for, falling in love with these running backs, I don't tend to work out all that great. If there's one thing I trust this team with, it's their D-line. I mean, yeah, we can kind of rip on them for Kinlaw or whatever, but, more times than not, they, either through the draft or through free agency, they find guys and they seem to be able to mold these D linemen. So far be it for me to, say that it was a bad pick. And I got to say, watching a little bit of Gray tape, I'm very impressed with how well he's able to kind of meet the ball at the high point. Like on the outside, he does seem like he plays a lot bigger than his size. That's one thing I noticed. So I really like that pick.
I like the Ty Davis Price pick. I mean, he's Randy's 415 says Ty's a 4.48 sledgehammer. He's got size, he's got agility. He looks like he's got some straight line speed. He's pretty quick. He makes some sharp cuts.
Great game against Florida.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at him too, the size and the speed, and he can pass protect. And then, yeah, as Danny said, I mean, if you bust out the Ty Davis Price, game log, I mean, it's impressive. Let's review some of these games for Ty Davis Price. I mean, unbelievable season he had if you look at it. A&M, 19 carries for 84 yards. Louisiana Monroe, 21 carries, 82 yards. Okay, that's nothing great. Still right around 4 yards a pop. Then he goes up against Arkansas in the overtime game early in the year, 28 carries for 106 yards. Then he comes back against Bama and their defense, and their defense is not spectacular, but still 23 carries, 104 yards, and a number of those guys can be playing in the NFL, 4.5 yards a carry. Then, as Danny said, they took on the Gators. He ran 36 times for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns. He averaged over 8 yards a carry against the Gators in that game. Now, that's impressive, but then, what's really impressive is he has a 36 carry game where he almost rumbles for 300 yards. He comes back the next game against Kentucky, 22 carries, 147 yards, 6.7 a carry, 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Now Wasn't great against Auburn. Wasn't great against Central Michigan. Only 13 carries for 30 yards against UCLA to finish out the year, but 4.8 yards per carry for the year for Ty Davis Price. So I know there are a lot of people being critical of him. I'm not seeing that.
Larry, I have a question for you about him.
Yeah.
So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm digesting him. So do you envision him kind of as like a super souped up version of Jeff Wilson, where like, he's, the short yardage and he's getting the touchdowns, except for like a more expanded version where it's almost like we have a 1-2 punch, not just like the occasional Jeff Wilson, like a kind of a workhorse Jeff Wilson type.
I just think that he's going to be Debo. He's going to take some of the Debo carries.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
So now Debo is not going to carry the ball. I mean, Debo. The whole thing about Debo is he doesn't want to have a short career if you're not going to pay him a premier amount. So he's going to bristle at being at carries. So, and it's not, wow, I can't believe that. It's like easy to predict at this point.
Yeah.
And it was obviously the issue. So now they get a big back who can run. He's got some speed, and they're going to use him. So they'll use Debo more as a receiver.
Makes sense.
So I think that's part of it. And then also be about being, having a dynamic big back. I think Jeff Wilson's a good hammer back, straight line. He's a good backup back if you get some injuries. But I think they wanted a dynamic, bigger back. And Elijah Mitchell, he's the smaller back. And now Ty Davis Price is is it Davis Price or Price Davis?
Price Davis, I think.
Davis Price.
Or Davis Price.
Davis Price. And he's he's a big back with scoot.
When has Shanahan though, like just when has Shanahan like kind of had that type of back? Like it seems like since he's been in San Francisco, like the Mosterts and the Mitchells and they seem to be the ones, the kind of small, not necessarily small, but like big hitters and fast and small and
when they his best offense. Yeah, his best offense was in Atlanta. They averaged over 8 yards a carry or 8 yards a play on first down. And he had that two-headed back. Who are the two backs?
Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman.
Yeah. Devontae Freeman is a bigger back. Tevin Coleman, what's Devontae Freeman? 215, 218?
Yeah, he's like 5'10", 5'11", 215 probably.
Yeah. And Tevin Coleman was, so that was the combination. So I think now – you have Trey Sermon, you have Elijah Mitchell, and now you have Ty Davis Price.
So you got those three guys, and then you got Jeff Wilson probably as the fourth guy.
And you got Jermichael Hasty still.
Oh yeah, Hasty. That's right.
Maybe they'll trade Trey Sermon. It was an interesting addition. And then Danny Gray. Danny Gray. I'm looking at his numbers for the year against Memphis: 4 catches, 98 yards, a couple touchdowns. Lit up Tulane, 8 catches for 140 yards, 7 catches for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns against South Florida. Big day against TCU. He caught 4 for 130 and a touch, 7 for 69 yards and a touchdown against Louisiana Tech. He got a touchdown against North Texas. I mean, Danny Gray in his last 5 games scored, 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He really had a terrific year. So he's your home run hitter. So I like it. To me, I like Danny Gray. I wanted to see them go with Danny Gray before the draft. I thought he was the perfect wide receiver for their offense and a perfect blend compared to like the other receivers they have. So I think Danny Gray is a perfect fit. The Davis Price thing, if he really does run in the 4.4s, he played in a big time conference and, just that game against Florida alone would make me interested. And then Drake Jackson is first step quickness. I think there were better defensive ends on the board, and we'll see as time goes on. Michael Clemens from A&M and Jeremy Gunter from Coastal Carolina. And there was a number of guys that I thought were in his class and maybe were a little bit better prospects. But you know what? In that wide 9, they just asked the defensive end to get up the field and put a little heat off the edge. And this guy definitely can do that. He can definitely put some heat off the edge. He can definitely, heat up the pocket a little bit. So, they got a bunch of picks tomorrow. I think they pick in the 4th, the 5th, 3 picks in the 6th, and maybe 1 or 2 in the 7th. So they're fortified with a lot of picks. It should be interesting to see what they do tomorrow. We'll cover it, of course, tomorrow.
And I was happy to see that they didn't trade up like they did last year to get Trey Sermon. They gave away. Yeah, and I think they're picking with specific guys in mind for to be on the that are going to make the team. They've had a pretty loaded roster for the last few years, and so I think the guys these three guys that they've obviously will make the team, and the two they have two in the fourth or one
in the fourth, one in the fifth, three in the sixth, and
so you want to hit on all those first 5 rounds for sure that are going to make the team. I mean, on this team, it might be tough to make the team on this 6 rounders just because of the depth they've had. But I would like to see them get a defensive back, another like a safety, and maybe a
Jerome McKinley.
Yeah,
well, I agree with Dan. Safety, corner, maybe a nickel. It sounded like maybe Cincinnati traded in front of them in the draft and took maybe a guy that at least Cincinnati thought they were going to take. I don't know if that was the case. Yeah, the nickel back who looked good. I mean, I saw the film on him. He looked terrific. I didn't see him play in college. Danny, you're with us, so let's talk a little bit about what you're offering. You're not just here; you're also our sponsor. And you've got your retirement planning specialist. SecureMoney.com on the web is your website, and your number 925-628-9966. Give people an idea, if what exactly you can do for them, what you typically do for people, and if they call you and set up an appointment, what's that experience going to be like?
Yeah, basically, I'm just going to help try and find out what your goals are, what you're looking to do for your financial portfolio. Are you looking to protect everything for retirement? Are you looking to pass money down to your children? What is your main goals? And then we devise a plan and that fits you. And it's pretty simple. There's no fees involved with me to meet with me, to talk with me. I get paid by the companies that I work with, so there's never a fee to me. And as a fiduciary, my responsibility is to do what's best for you. And so I've been doing this for over 20 plus years, about 25 years since 97. And I've, been very successful at what I do. And it's just pretty simple. I treat people like I would treat my own parents.
Awesome. So once again, give Danny a call today and he can help you out. 925-628-9966. SecureMoney.com on the web. Dan's a retirement planning specialist. He's got decades of experience and he'll help you, talk through what your goals are and help you meet those goals and set yourself up for the future and do it in a secure way and make sure that your retirement is secure. That's really the purpose. And we thank Dan for being a sponsor of our show, not only being a sponsor, but being one of our guests. And then our other sponsor is Telmetrics.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics. And they're doing great things there. Let me tell you a little bit about them. They're, if you're an orthopedic surgeon or if you're an occupational therapist or a chiropractor or a physical therapist, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in clinical and telehealth environments. Using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injuries, if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist, make sure you go to the website, Telmetrics.co. That's Telmetrix.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics for being a sponsor of the Krueg Show. Well, kind of a disaster game for the Giants tonight, let's be honest. And this is the way it goes in baseball. There's a lot of games. The one thing I'll say about the Giants, and I really believe this wholeheartedly, they're very resilient. They're a very resilient club. And when they get drubbed, and it doesn't happen a lot, but when they do get drubbed, they bounce back. And I expect tomorrow to be not just the Giants getting a win, but the Giants scoring early and looking sharp And even though this national team rolls in with some guys who can really swing it, we saw that firsthand tonight. I like the Giants to show a little resiliency and jump them early tomorrow and get the lead and ride it to a series evening win on what promises to be probably a beautiful Saturday out at the Yard. And then as far as the Niners, as we said, 4th round, 5th round, 3 in the 6th round, 7th round tomorrow. They'll finish up the draft, and it should be an interesting weekend for sure. So, guys, good stuff tonight. And thanks to everybody who's participated in the Krueg show. This is our 3rd live stream of the day. We did one earlier today with Jack Hammer, and then we had Christopher and Ryan on during the draft, and now Danny. Ned Coletti, by the way, was scheduled tonight, but Ned was like, man, it's getting late. I've got to do a bunch of things. I said, no, don't sweat it, Ned. We'll catch up with you. So if we do a post game tomorrow after Giants baseball, there's a chance Ned will be with us tomorrow after the game. But have a great weekend, everybody. Go Niners, go Giants, go Warriors, by the way. Don't we get Sunday game 1.
Yeah.
Warriors, Memphis. You got a quick feeling on that, you two, before we sign off for the evening? What do you think? Warriors, Grizz. You got a vibe on that one?
We'll take 1 out of 2 in Memphis. Yeah, and then I have one more thing I have to say after Dan.
Okay. Danny, go ahead.
I like him in game 1 because Memphis is coming off a 6-game series, just played tonight. Quick turnaround, even though they'll be at home on Sunday. The Warriors will have had 3 full days off, Thursday, Friday, tomorrow. I think the Warriors probably now travel tomorrow to Memphis in the morning, get in, and then I don't know what time the game is Sunday. I'm imagining it's
maybe 12:30, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it's 12:30.
12:30.
12:30 our time.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2:30 or something back there. So so that's I like the Warriors in game 1 to get out, jump on them, and it's going to be a tough series, very tough series. I was hoping Minnesota would at least get it to game 7, but we'll see.
I like the Warriors in 5. Go ahead, Rye. What do you got?
5.
Yeah, I like the Warriors in 5. I think they're all going to be really competitive, close games, but I think Golden State is not going to mess around with Memphis. I think there's proper fear there because Memphis did beat them 3 out of 4 times. And I think what is going to dawn on everybody halfway through that game 1 is that Memphis was a team that played very hard this year. I really believe Taylor Jenkins, their coach, deserves the NBA Coach of the Year. But this is another level, and they're jumping up a level. And I just really think that the Warriors are ready for Memphis. And I think it's going to be a close series. Every game's going to be close, but I think Golden State is going to get going early. I think Memphis is going to be shocked by the level that Golden State plays at in game 1. And I think Golden State's going to ride it to a victory, a series victory. I like them in 5. Raphael says that's ambitious, Larry. What do you think, Ryan? You got a quick thought on your way out the door, or our way out the door?
Yeah, well, I was going to say Warriors in 6, and then
letters here, just for everybody out there in Packerland and yourself today. RELAX. Relax.
All right.
Hey, I love it.
Don't forget this one. Also, Raphael said, "Everybody, remember to relax, guys."
Yeah, baby. All right.
Hey, one last deal here. This Price guy, was it Ty Davis Price or Price Davis? I couldn't remember.
It was. Let me double check. It's Tyron Davis Price.
Okay,
Price.
so if he's successful and he scores
Relax,
a lot
Danny.
of TDs, here's his nickname will be TD Price.
Look at you.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Look at you.
TD Price.
All right. TD.
Yeah, never met a man.